Hi, welcome, or welcome back. Hopefully you can hear me all right. A little bit of wind, really not that bad. New park, different location, different orientation of my phone, all that kind of stuff, you know. Trying to change it up a little bit. Just listen to the birds calling and all that. That's what's drawing my attention right now. I suppose I shouldn't allow these things to, let's rephrase. It would be better to maintain focus. Maybe that's a better way of saying it, at least. Either way, I was just kind of laughing to myself. This is another one of these videos. I don't know if it's going to be posted or not. But just find it funny. Looking through random information on YouTube. I'm always interested in sacred geometry and, like, you know, this kind of stuff. And, you know, salacious, provoking, or provocative titles, rather, not provoking, but provocative titles really draw the human's attention. That's something that I've definitely noticed. Why we're so many of us seem to be obsessed with drama, and gossip and controversy and all this kind of stuff. I can see why. It makes sense. But it's just another thing that caught my attention today, where this particular emblem that I'm wearing happens to be Metatron's cube, if you couldn't tell from me picking it up and showing it a little bit closer to the camera. Title happened to be something around, oh, Metatron's cube is wrong. It's Krystal geometry now, or something, or Krystal spiral, or what, like it's Krystal spiral geometry, or whatever the title was. It doesn't really matter. I watched, like 30 seconds to a minute of it and was like, come on, man. Like, you're missing the point. It's just like everything else. Everything is true at a certain level of consciousness. But if you move from that level of consciousness, whether or not it remains true is yet to be determined. And it's kind of funny that I clicked on it and I was just kind of curious, you know, like what is this guy talking about? What do you mean? What do you mean Metatron was wrong, or it's evil, or whatever, you know? Just like the same kind of controversy behind apparently the flower of life, the traditional flower of life versus, and I don't remember what special name they gave it, but it's essentially an inverse kind of thing. Almost kind of showing like what it would look like to be spinning. Looks like a torus field to me. Instead of having 6 points in like the main structure, like the flower of life does, in each circle it has, or 6 flower petals or whatever, it has 12 in the center basically, and it just kind of explodes out from there. But it's like a reduced version of it, and kind of more like the seed of life in the sense of it's tighter condensed. It's one circle with 12 circles around it, which, you know, I didn't even put this piece together before, but very much seems to be like accurate and true as a representation for like the structures of reality. Because I think Like at the end of the day, sacred geometry, that's what it is. It's the building block of our reality in one way or the other. Different representations are shown here and there. But the cool thing that I thought about after looking into it just a little bit, if you compare the Fibonacci spiral, apparently that's the golden ratio, and the Fibonacci spiral is what's being called into question about this whole, it's like a typical story, the battle between good and evil or whatever, like, you know, the Fibonacci spiral is evil and Krystal spiral is good or something. I mean, they're both true. It's a yes and universe as far as I can tell. Like, everything that can exist does exist at some level. But whenever you superimpose the Fibonacci spiral and this other spiral, amazing. It's just like 4 points spiraling out in the same relative structure and shape of everything in our universe. Galaxies, or at least everything that's on that kind of a scale, I guess. And then there's fractal geometry that defines coastlines and all this other kind of interesting stuff. At this point, you know, I'm sort of out of my depth. I don't know the mathematics well enough to be like, oh, here's my proofs and here's how all these things fit together. But I mean, I don't know. Why do you feel you need that to like recognize relationships? And the funny, or the thing about fractal geometry that gets me so much is the more you zoom in, just kind of like a metaphor for our lives, I guess. The more you zoom in, the more complex things get. And this gentleman that I was watching, new geometry, K-N-E-W, like I knew geometry. He was teaching how to draw this crystal spiral and good ways to define the arcs so that they're nice and smooth and consistent and flow together and it all kind of makes sense. And I mean, the basis of what he was drawing it on was just interlaid like squares, rotated 45 degree, like one square of a certain size, and then another rotated 45 degrees, and then another one or another square drawn inside of the 45 degree angle one, just on into infinity basically. And you know, if you could zoom in enough, that's essentially what you would get, is the ability to be able to draw forever and have the spiral go infinitely. That's almost exactly like the fractal geometry thing, where you zoom in more and it just goes further and further and gets more complex. I mean, in a way at least. It just kind of shows the infinite nature of the reality that we live in. It's wild to me. Wild to me that we can describe these things with mathematics. here I am rambling again. I don't know what else to say about this. So I guess, as always, you only have one job. And that's to remember yourself. So, if you don't do anything else, work on that. Remember who you are, rather. And, I think that bird was talking shit. Anyway. Peace and blessings be upon you, and I love you. Till next time.